Well, good morning. It's great to see so many here. It's not unexpected. We've got a wonderful guest with us today. And good afternoon to you, Bob. Pleased to see that you got through the London traffic okay. Bob's joining us from London, where he's been having discussions on sustainable development with, among others, the Prince of Wales, the Chancellor, and the Minister for International Development. But we're greatly privileged, and I do mean greatly privileged today, to have the Mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, join us on Urban Sector Day. Mr. Mayor, you have an audience which contains many urban sector specialists from around the world. Their numbers are a testimony to the intense interest among them in your work in New York City, which is truly path-breaking, and to your enormous influence as a leader. Thank you for finding the time to be with us. We know you have a hectic schedule. It truly is a great honour to have you here, and there's huge interest in your presentation. Bob would love to have been here in person, but is standing by in London, and he will make the words of introduction. So over to you, Bob.
Well, thank you very much, Graham. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to welcome Mayor Bloomberg. I had the pleasure of getting to know the mayor a little bit when I worked in New York City. He's an impressive and versatile leader. He has a strategic sense that focuses on the most important elements of a topic. The executive sense of going after the key facts in information. And one of the nicest qualities, a sheer enjoyment of the politics of governing, as well as a good sense of humor. And all of them, in my experience, have been combined with one other quality that is particularly appreciative, and that's a very strong commitment to public service. He cares a great deal about his community, and he wants to make it a better place for the citizens of New York. Now, it turns out that the World Bank Group's experience with Mayor Bloomberg runs considerably deeper than my own, because I learned from our Treasurer's office that they started buying the Bloomberg terminals in 1986, which I think was very early in the development of what became an incredibly successful business venture. Our Treasurer's office believes that this innovation contributed tremendously to market efficiency, breaking the near monopoly that the dealers had not only on information but on speedy analytics. So his innovation is one that has cut spreads and new issue transaction costs to extraordinary effect. The mayor has brought that same spirit of innovation and entrepreneurialism to his work in New York City. And in doing so, he's also shown that ideas can move in multiple directions among countries. The mayor has a tremendous international spirit, just like that of his city, New York City. And one particular example is his Opportunity New York City program is a CCC project, conditional cash transfer project, that drew from some of the experiences of Brazil and Mexico's successful anti-poverty programs. As I think everyone in the audience knows, these conditional cash transfer programs are based on modest cash transfers that are targeted to the poorest in exchange for sending kids to school or libraries or some basic preventive health and nutrition measures. And I understand the mayor visited Mexico himself to get a better sense of this program. The World Bank as an institution, Mr. Mayor, is now supporting 16 conditional cash transfer programs in 12 countries, and I was delighted to learn that our staff offered some advice as you were developing the New York City program, funding it with foundations and some of your own generosity. This is just one of a number of areas where Mayor Bloomberg has shown exceptional leadership. He's cut crime, he's raised standards for schools, he's created jobs through small businesses, boosted affordable housing, expanded parks and green spaces. And now the mayor is leading the world in trying to integrate the challenges of urban areas and cities with that of global climate change. So we're most fortunate that the mayor will give his keynote speech for us on Urban Sector Day. Mr. Mayor, you probably have learned we have staff from all over the world as part of our Sustainable Development Network. And with more than half of the world's population now in cities, with more than 90% of urban growth now taking place in developing countries, with some 1 billion people that are now living in urban slums in developing countries without clean water or proper sanitation or adequate housing, but also with the urban share of GDP over 60% in most developing countries, we couldn't have asked for a better and more experienced and more thoughtful speaker. So I apologize for not being there personally, but it's an honor to have an opportunity to welcome Mayor Bloomberg of New York City to the World Bank. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Bob, thank you for those kind words from London. I hope the traffic there isn't too bad. You were almost too late to introduce me. You should tell them they should put a congestion pricing charge in. Maybe that would help. And in terms of the World Bank having Bloomberg terminals, my daughters say thank you. Now, my connections with the World Bank are not just through selling Bloomberg terminals. I actually know not only Bob, but both of his two predecessors. You should know that in the interest of full disclosure, my girlfriend works for Jim Wolfenson. She'll be pleased. Jim and I were partners together at Solomon Brothers, and were both pushed out at exactly the same time. Our careers did okay afterwards, thank you, so there's nothing wrong with that. Paul Wolfenson was a dean at the School of Advanced International Studies at Johns Hopkins, where I was chairman of the board. So you can say that he used to work for me, and I'm guessing that a few of you probably think that he should have stayed there. But I thought that would have gotten a little bit better laugh than that, actually. And Bob was a partner in an investment banking firm that offered me my first job when I got out of business school, and I turned them down, thank goodness. Anyways, it's amazing after all of that you still invited me to speak. Nevertheless, seriously, I am deeply honored by this invitation to address the World Bank's Bank Group's urban sector. The work you do in so many rapidly growing cities really does put you at the center of the stage of the world's most important drama. And you should be proud, really, of the differences that you're making to so many in our societies that need help. And you truly are at the center of a changing world. This year, for the first time in human history, city dwellers will begin to make up the majority of the Earth's population. And this global urbanization represents a seismic shift in world affairs, and it's happening really at a breathtaking pace.